for for our 6 weeks of family fitness program, where we believe in transforming lives 1 week at a time through nutrition, exercise, and motivation. Now, can you really improve your health, lose weight, and get in shape in 6 weeks? Of course you can, but you must take action. I know some of you are here for the very first time, and so I want to welcome you to our program. The program works, but only if you put the work in. That's the only way you're going to be successful in accomplishing your goals. And speaking of success, our program would not be possible without the belief and financial support of our community partner, the United Federation of Teachers. I reached out to them again this year for their support, and they answered the call. And we've partnered with the UFT for about over 15 years, or should I say, we reached out to them for support for over 15 years, and they've been there for us. And so because of that support, we've been able to invite more families to come on in this program for no additional cost to them, to you, because the UFT is underwriting the cost, and which is so important to us. UFT realizes the importance of the work that we do for the community. And I am so delighted that we have joining us today the Director of Community and Parent Engagement for the UFT, my good friend, Nick Cruz. Nick, would you mind saying a few words to the group today?
Yeah, sure. So, I was going to come in my workout clothes, but I'm kind of running late. However, look, Vince hit it on the nose, right? We not only partners, but like friends, right? And
yes.
in this journey, we've been able to help families connect communities, and it's through those efforts that we, the UFT, continues to support. This is a win-win situation for all involved, and on behalf of our president Michael Mulgrew and Anthony Harmon, we just want to say thank you and continue stretching, reaching, and just gaining more energy, right, as we break out 2023. So I'm gonna hang out for a few and see what we got in store for our folks. So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much, Nick, man. Really appreciate you. You know that, man. It's a fellow veteran like myself, a fellow New York Met fan like myself, so we have so much in common. The wins and losses, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what we're going to do, again, we like to be on time, so we're not going to take much of your time. We go straight into the nutrition now, okay? So with that being said, Tricia, please feel free to take your 30 minutes, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. 30 minutes seems to get shorter and shorter each week, Vince. I think we could spend at least an hour on nutrition at some point. There's so much information to give.
That's true.
Okay, so everybody, happy Tuesday again. So here we are on our third nutrition class. So it's about that time that I'm looking for everybody to put in the chat maybe some changes that you've started to make, some steps that you've started to take. Maybe you made the changes, but you're building on it. So that's the stuff we want to start hearing about. I always want to see stuff in the chat through the whole time that I'm speaking. So last week we were talking a little bit about some of those steps that we take to start building that healthy eating routine, building a healthy meal, right? We started talking about fruits and vegetables and just some of the reasons why they're so important that we include them and all the wonderful things to them. First and foremost was including all the different colors, right? Because we get antioxidants, if we remember that word. And one of those handouts that went out this week was a little chart about antioxidants, some of the foods that we choose, which antioxidant you're getting from them. So that was something that went out. I am just saying hello to everybody. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat. Angie, welcome, new to the program. Wonderful. So something else that we mentioned about the fruits and vegetables, of course, is the fiber. Fiber is very, very important, plays a role in lowering our cholesterol, plays a role in helping us feel full, right? That's why you'll hear some of these things, people taking fiber for weight loss. The reason behind that is because the fiber helps to fill the space in our stomach. So when we're eating and we're eating something that has a lot of fiber, we are actually filling up that space in our stomach, which now we're not eating as much of the other foods. So that's how that connects. And that's why you see that together. I'm seeing a lot. Natalie is eating more vegetables. That's great. Maritza, welcome. Also new to the program. Liz's goal is to eat dinner earlier. Would always appreciate suggestions for it. Thank you. Thank you for saying thank you for my speaking. Would appreciate suggestions for ways to keep from losing too much weight by, okay, gave up sodas. That's a great one. Liz, I think we have to touch base a little one-on-one because yours are a little more specific. Kim is drinking more water and eating more vegetables. Amazing. And Melissa is also new to the program. That's amazing, everybody. Thank you so much for putting some comments in there. So the fiber, as we said, it's keeping you feeling full. That's why you're losing weight. And we said you're not jumping right into, I don't need any fiber, and all of a sudden I'm going to have 25 grams a day. That would cause a little GI upset, but we're going to build on that. At the end, the last thing that we touched on was the big difference in calories and carbohydrates when I make my plate with half of it of vegetables instead of half of it a carbohydrate or a starch. So when I start to get away from that big portion of rice and I instead have a big portion of salad, we see a big difference in the calories and the carbohydrates. And I did throw out there, I don't know if anybody tried it, I did throw out there to actually fill 2 or 3 cups, a measuring cup with some salad greens, with some salad, put it on an empty plate and actually see how much of the plate is taken up by that, right? And that's kind of like that really easy way to follow this my plate, right? Without having to get crazy about measuring things. Am I eating too much? Am I eating the right portion of rice? Just serve your plate differently, right? Start with the vegetables and the salad. Put that on the plate first. Let it take up all that room that it does take up, right? Now we move into the next part of the meal that we want to put on the plate, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, which is the protein. So protein is also very important. Every single thing that we eat has an important role in the body. Protein, of course, is helping to build muscle, repair muscle and tissue, among many other functions that it has, but those are the big ones that we look for. And similar to vegetables, it's got that lower carbohydrate content. So if we're looking to build a meal that is lower in carbohydrates, why would we be looking to do that? Either we're looking for weight loss and we're being a little more conscious about how much carbohydrates we're actually taking in, because that can help in weight loss. We have diabetes and we have to be very aware of how much carbohydrates are taking in per meal, right? So these are reasons that we might want to be able to kind of lower our carbohydrates a little more easily without having a teeny tiny meal, right? We don't want that. We want a full meal. We don't want to be hungry. So we do that with our protein. So our protein also will help us feel very full, not for the same reasons as the fiber. So the fiber helps us feel very full because it takes up the space in the stomach. It's actually filling the stomach. The protein, on the other hand, it is a little bit different. The protein acts to release certain hormones in our body, in our digestive system. And the hormone that it's releasing is keeping us feeling a little bit fuller. So both of those things, fiber and protein, are going to help us feel fuller without eating as much of it. And that's important because when we're eating carbohydrates like pasta or rice, we can eat a big portion, even if it's bigger than recommended, and not feel full for that long. And I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that, myself included, right? We eat a plate of pasta and an hour and a half later, we feel a little hungry again, right? It didn't quite do it. Now, if I eat a plate of a good amount of protein and vegetables that are full of fiber, I am really going to get 2, 3, maybe even 3.5 hours before I feel like I need something else to eat. And this is important because if I have a large carbohydrate meal, I've got a lot of calories, a lot of carbohydrates, and in an hour and a half, I'm hungry again. So I'm going to eat something else. So if I do that through the whole day, by the end of the day, I probably have taken in too many calories and too many carbohydrates. But I felt hungry, right? So it didn't do it. I didn't feel satisfied. So we have to have that protein. It's very, very important. Now, types of protein. Our animal sources are a great source of protein. We want to have lean proteins. Lean proteins are poultry, chicken, turkey, meats, and fish. Any of them can be eaten. Any of them can be lean proteins. How do we keep them lean? If we're having the poultry, if we're having chicken or turkey, we do want to remove the skin. The skin is the fat. So if we want to have a lean protein, we're going to take that skin off. If we're having a meat, now here's something that gets confusing sometimes because people hear different stories. Any meat is fine to have. If you like beef, if you enjoy it, you should have it. You shouldn't have it every day, but we shouldn't have most things every day, right? We have to have variety. Pork is fine, right? If you like pork and you want to include it. The idea is that we don't want to include the fat or the fattier parts of whatever type of meat it is. So any meat can be included if you like it, but we do have to have a lean cut or just remove the fat. If you weren't able to buy a lean cut, you certainly want to take the fat off of it. Fish is really just a lean protein. There's I'm going to say that people are going to say isn't fish high in fat, and that's something we're going to talk about when we get into fat. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but it is a lean protein. We have to remember how we're cooking it, right? Because we can very easily make a lean protein not so lean if we drag it through the flour and the breadcrumbs and throw it in a deep fryer. Not so lean anymore. We've added some fat to it. But if we cook it in a lean cooking method, that's going to be a lean protein. Air fryer is great. A lot of people using an air fryer. That's a really nice cooking method. Slow cooker is really great. I'm a fan of the slow cooker. You can really, if you put a piece of meat in the slow cooker, not only does it come out very tender and it's much easier to digest, but you actually can see how it is separated from the fat, and it makes it easier to just get rid of that fat and just have the meat. So there's lots of meats that can be included and should be included if you want to eat meat. Now, if you are doing plant-based or want to do plant-based or thinking about doing plant-based, we can also do plant-based in a very healthy way. It does take a little bit more work than just making a piece of chicken or making a piece of beef. So if you are thinking about it, you have to understand that you have to kind of be thoughtful about it and put the work in. An animal protein is what they call a complete protein. So there are amino acids, which are all the little building blocks for proteins, right? And there are essential ones that the body needs that it has to get from the diet. That's what makes them essential, is that the body needs them, and we have to get them from the diet. An animal protein has all of the ones that we need. So it's considered complete because in one serving, I'm getting them all. Most plant proteins are not complete. So we're getting some of the amino acids that we need, but not all of them. This means that if I have a meal that's all plant-based proteins, I can't just have one type. Okay, so my plant-based proteins are what? They're my beans, nuts, seeds, soy, tofu, any soy products, tofu, soy milk, anything like that. Quinoa. Quinoa is a good protein source, plant-based. We don't think of it right away as protein because it's kind of like our rice substitute. It's a grain. It is a seed-like grain, but it does have protein. So when we have a meal, I may have to have two types of beans. Or if I'm having a salad and I want protein, I may have to add a bean and some nuts, like some almonds or walnuts. But I'm always going to have a combination of plant proteins in order to get my complete protein. So that's one difference in it. And it can work very well, but you know, of course, you have to know yourself, right? And if it's a new thing that you're taking on and you're thinking, I'm going to go plant-based, you have to know of yourself. Are you ready to make sure that you're making your meals in the right way, right? The other thing about plant proteins is that they just don't have as much protein per serving as an animal source. So an animal source protein is really kind of giving you the most for your money, right? You have a little serving of it and you're really getting everything that you need. You're getting a higher amount of protein and you're getting a complete protein. We do have to work a little bit harder at it for that plant protein. Make the combination of different things, different types of proteins in your meal, add them throughout the day, add nuts for a snack, you know, add them throughout the day. There are some complete plant proteins. Soy is one of them. So that's a really great one to include as often as you can. And quinoa, believe it or not, is another complete protein. So if you're going plant-based, quinoa is a really good choice as a replacement for rice because you're getting the benefit of it being a plant protein. Of course, the difference there is that you're getting some carbohydrate, you know, content to it. So an animal protein, such as a chicken or a fish, there's no carbohydrates there. Our plant proteins, they do have a little bit of carbohydrates. So that's something else that we have to consider. What you do not want to do is cut out animal source proteins and just increase, you know, your rice and pasta to fill up your meal, because that's just not giving you the proper nutrients, not giving you enough protein, and really just giving you too many carbohydrates than you will need. Okay, let me take a couple questions here. Your before picture. Oh, okay. Good plant-based protein powders that you would suggest. Almond butter. Yeah, almond butter does taste good. The one that I use as far as plant-based protein powders is the brand Orgain. I mean, I only recommend it just because I've tasted a few, and just for taste wise, I just think it tastes the best. But there are certainly there's a lot on the market. I mean, if you're going to start using a protein powder, you know, really shop around and make sure you find one that you like. But yeah, I like Orgain. I find it to be financially, it's a good choice. It's not too outrageously priced, and taste wise, it's just really a good one. It is a good one, and it is plant-based. How about buckwheat? Buckwheat does not have a high protein content. Sure, it is great to include, but it doesn't have a lot of protein. And again, it's similar to the quinoa. If you try to take a portion that would give you enough protein, you're now taking in much more carbohydrates, right? So there's that balance there where if I'm trying to get enough protein just from these plant-based sources, I can really quickly start adding up in carbohydrates. So you have to be able to have a, soy is good in that way, that there's a lower carbohydrate if you're having like some tofu or something like that. But you just really want to have the variety, put them all together at a meal. Don't just kind of stick to one or two, even with the beans, right? Beans are a great source of protein, but we can't just eat one type. I can't always eat, black beans. I have to include all of them, chickpeas and red beans and white beans and black-eyed peas, right? We have to include all of them. So that's very important. In that sense, the variety becomes very important. Okay, very good. It's a lot of good questions today. Okay, so we talked about animal sources, that they're lower in carbohydrates, and of course we want to make that lean cooking method, right? No frying, no deep frying. So then the nuts and the nut butters. So they are high in a healthy fat, right? And some people again shy away from nuts and nut butters because what we hear is it's high in fat, but we have to know the differences between the fat. Angela, why is the variety of beans important? Because each variety, similar to the colors of the fruits and vegetables, have different amino acids. Okay, so those essential amino acids, there's 9 of them total. And one variety may have 6 out of the 9, right? So we have to start to build our meals and build the variety so that we can get all 9 from whatever sources of protein we've picked, right? Because if I eat that animal source, I get all 9 of my essential amino acids. I don't have to worry about having chicken plus beef on my plate, right? I've got them all covered with that one animal source. But my plant-based proteins, I don't get all 9 essential amino acids in one type of protein. So I'm going to include the variety because then I'm going to ensure that in that meal, I'm going to kind of cover my bases and get as many of those 9 as I can. That's why that's important. Okay. So high in fat, we have to be looking at good fats and bad fats, right? The good fats are what we call the healthy fats, and we need those, right? Going back to everything has a purpose. Fats have a purpose. We need some fat in our body. It's important, but we need the right fat. We need the healthy fat. So if we're eating nuts, if we're eating fish, if we're eating seeds, olives, olive oil, all those things have the healthy fats. Great. And that's what we want. When people are counting calories or doing a program that counts calories, such as Weight Watchers, those types of foods become something that becomes a little taboo because there are more calories when something is high in fat. That doesn't mean that the fat is not good for you. Okay, so again, we have to know what we're doing. I don't always get all caught up in calories for this reason, that there's a lot of healthy foods that are a little higher in calories because if they have a fat content to them, avocados are a wonderful healthy fat. Avocados are great and they should be included both as eating them and as avocado oil, right? So if you're doing something where you're counting your calories and you start to include these healthy fats, yes, you're going to see that your calorie count comes up a little bit. But when you're including these healthy fats, you will most of the time be coming down a little bit in carbohydrates just because of the types of foods that they are. And again, healthy fat, just like the protein, helps us feel full because it's releasing particular hormones that make the body feel full. So a healthy fat and a protein together at a meal is just a wonderful way to eat less, feel full, and have less carbohydrates. And at the end of the day, that's the recipe to lose weight, right? We're going to eat more, feel full, so we don't need to keep eating throughout the day, but have less carbohydrates. What alternative oils are good besides olive oil? Oh, there's many good oils. Olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil is okay. The only oils really to be careful about that are really saturated fats are the more tropical oils, coconut oil, palm oil. These are saturated fats. These are not healthy. They're not healthy fats. They're not healthy oils. But any of the other oils are fine. So it doesn't have to be olive oil, right? It can be avocado oil. It can be vegetable oil. It can be canola oil. You know, it can be any of those things. Those are fine. So this healthy fat. Now, if any of you have, let me check my time. Okay. So if any of you have gone to the doctor and gotten your cholesterol checked, right? The doctor is going to give you your total cholesterol. Here's your total cholesterol. It's high, it's low, it's whatever you want. Now, that number is made up from your good cholesterol plus your bad cholesterol, right? And the two of them are put together. So it can be that you have a very high good cholesterol, and that has made your total go up a little bit, right? Because it's all of the things put together. And that's okay, because we want to have a higher good cholesterol. That means that we have taken in more healthy fats. They're protective for our heart, and we need them. What we don't want are the unhealthy fats, the bad fats, because those are the fats that start to get stuck in our arteries and clogged up and cause plaque. And that's where we have problems. The easiest way to remember this, if you're talking to your doctor, you're going to ask them about your good fats and your good cholesterol and your bad cholesterol. The HDL, that's our healthy cholesterol. H is for healthy, right? Our LDL, that's our lousy cholesterol. So L is for lousy. So that LDL, we do not want that to be high. That's the bad cholesterol. That HDL, that's our good cholesterol. We want that to be nice and high. And the more we're eating healthy fats, the higher that's going to be. And that's okay. And that's okay to have those. The LDL, and then one step beyond that, that's really not great, are our triglycerides. We do not want triglycerides to be high, because the LDL and triglycerides are what's causing plaque and ultimately a heart attack and a stroke and all those other horrible things that are going to happen when the blood can't flow properly. Those saturated fats are coming from the high fat meats, our sweets, sugars, things that are really deep fried, and our fast food. So we don't, we don't want to take too many of those saturated fats. We want to really have them as little as possible. If we're doing dairy, which is also fine to have, but we do want it to be low fat. We don't want to have full fat dairy. Cheese, even at low fat, is not something we should have every day, because it is saturated fat. So it has some protein in it. It has some calcium in it because it's a dairy, but it does have saturated fat. So we're not going to eat it every day, but we should have it. We should have some dairy if you're including dairy. Okay. Is frying with olive oil unhealthy? So frying, I find sometimes when people ask me if they can fry, that they're actually not really frying, right? So if we have our pan and we're putting just a little bit of oil in there so that the whatever we're cooking doesn't stick to the pan, that's fine. That's a good cooking method. You're really not frying. Frying in terms of kind of making something a little unhealthier is when we're really talking about there's a pool of oil and the fish is still swimming, right? It's swimming in the pan, it's swimming in the oil. That's frying. That's when we're frying. So we should not really be frying in that way, where we're really deep frying, no matter what oil we're using. We just shouldn't be frying like that. If we're going to make something on top of the stove, put a little bit of oil in the pan, that's fine. But we do sometimes call that frying, but really that's not frying. That's fine. That's a good cooking method. And yeah, you can use olive oil for that type of cooking method. When I was talking about nuts being a good source of protein, would that include plant-based milk like almond milk or cashew milk? Absolutely. Yeah, if you're not doing cow's milk and you're looking for an alternative, certainly you can do the almond milk, or yes, the cashew milk. There's so many, different ones that are on the market now. They make the yogurt with almond milk. There's a lot on the market that you can do as an alternative. You do just have to keep in mind, like I said, that you're getting a different content, right? It does take more of a plant-based protein to equal what you would get from the animal source. So we have to be a little more thoughtful about how we eat. Sometimes protein powders are good for that, right? If you don't feel like you're going to be able to get quite enough just from the foods that you eat, then maybe you choose a protein powder and combine it into a drink that you're having so that you get that extra boost of protein. And there's a few other, chia seeds have a little bit of protein. So maybe you sprinkle them in an oatmeal, or you sprinkle them in a salad. Mushrooms have a little bit of protein. So maybe you add them to your salad or them to your stir fry. There's always you just always want to be including little bits of all these different plant-based proteins, so that at the end of the day you have gotten enough, because it's important that you get enough. Protein is very important. If we're not going to have enough protein, number one, we're going to feel hungrier, right? We're never going to feel satisfied. We're always going to be looking for something else. And we're doing all this exercise, right? We need that protein to really help build and repair the muscles. When we finish exercising, we need that protein within our body to start repairing and getting those muscles ready to do the next workout that we're going to do and do the next exercise that we're going to do. So we have to have enough protein, right? Protein is also going to play a role in repair. So if you've had any type of surgery or injury, we need enough protein that the body can help repair those tissues, right? So it's just very important. Plant-based eating can be tricky. We can't just jump into it and say, that's it today, no more meat. We have to be a little thoughtful about it. Okay, so I'm coming up on 7:33. Before I cut too much into Carmen, Vince, is Carmen on yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're ready. So right. Are you done? Because I want to make sure you had your 30 minutes.
Yes. So I'm going to stop here because I've just started on fats, and next week I will pick right up with fats and then move us from fats into carbohydrates. Okay, perfect. And I just can't say enough about nutrition. Okay, as you guys notice, I'm also always listening in, because I know what nutrition has done for me. I know what the power of nutrition. So if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to get healthier, just to feel better, reduce blood pressure, exercise is great, but you have to combine it with nutrition. Okay, that is what's really going to help you. Is that saying, like, this is a phrase I keep saying, you can't outrun a bad diet. So no matter how hard you work out, if you're not eating good, healthy, it's not going to help you. Okay, so it works hand in hand, because you're going to see a major difference in a short amount of time if you eat healthier, eat real food, less of the fake food. Keep that in mind. What's real? Apples are real. Oranges are real. Think about real food. That's going to help you towards your journey. With that being said, one more thing. I forgot to mention that because of the UFT coming in and supporting us, we're going to extend the program for an additional week. So instead of ending on February 23rd, we're going to end on March 2nd. Give you another full week with nutrition and exercise. Is that okay?
That okay? Is that good?
Yeah, great.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So Tricia will need you for another week.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, so with that being said, you guys, are you ready? Get your mats, get everything ready for the exercise. Carmen, take it away.
Greetings, welcome to Soca Fitness. My name is Carmen Carriker. I am your instructor. So excited to share this dance fitness workout that celebrates Caribbean music. So all that you need for this class is comfortable workout clothes, have a towel nearby, have a flag nearby to represent where you come from, and just have water. We'll have lots of fun. We'll begin with a warm-up, we'll end with a cool down, and we'll dance. So let's begin standing up. You can do this dance with sneakers on if you need extra support, or you can dance barefoot.
I have no time to waste, partner.
Here we go, watch it out.
Fit is what I want.
Take the arms up in here.
I roam in this place and I with no shame, cause come now to get on. So this vibe don't set, so meet me out on the road, dancing with. Yeah, that's where you will find me.
Twist it out.
It's me and them and I'm not tired yet. Boy, I come out of what I come out and I'm
Jump
just
and
so meet
jump.
me in the island.
Shake, shake.
I live down in a man. Woman, mountain, so one just how we like it. And everybody you meet, party in the street. It's carnival and it's sweet, I stay right there.
Watch it out.
I'm ready to jam, show. I'm ready to jam, show. I'm ready to jam, pull on. I'm ready to jam, show. I'm ready to jam, show. I'm ready to jam, pull on. It's just a party. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Say I'm on my way.
Seven, jump and
It's
jacks,
a party. I go be there. I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Last time, watch it out.
If you stay a little longer, it will get a little stronger. You don't even have to wonder, where's that? Where's that? Hold me tight now, hold me tighter. We gon' make the vibe much brighter. This go be a real all-nighter.
Twist.
Turn up the rhythm, turn up the we can eat till everything done. Cannot tell the Lord that where we come from. It is lockdown the tongue. Time's how I live it. Time's all I need. And everything is guaranteed when you start VIP, a VIP, party like a celebrity. VIP, a VIP, none of them would get on like we.
Reach down to the
VIP, a VIP, show them your personality. VIP, a VIP, I want to see you go step to me.
Here we go, reach it
I in charge of the game, none of them could touch it.
That's it.
I know I could put them to shame. Learn to play the game. All of them who looking for fame. I know I could put them to shame. As I
Reach it down. Here we go, knee up. Push out.
Somebody
Here we
pour a
go,
shot
kick.
in my glass.
2, 3.
Whole night we drinking. Whole day we drinking. They say I drinking
Hey,
too
knees
much
up.
too fast.
2 fists.
Hey. Whole night we drinking.
Look right and left.
Whole day we drinking rum. Whole night we drinking rum. Must be drinking rum. Must be drinking rum. Must be drinking rum.
Here we go, roll up the spine down.
Drinking rum. Must be drinking somebody drinking rum. Must be drinking somebody drinking rum. Must be drinking rum. Drinking somebody pass another rum. It don't matter where you're from. You could take a shot in the rum.
Hips, front and
Cause all
back.
of we is friends. We just party from the ends. And we don't make from a problem.
Sides.
Whether we liming from liming south, people know what we about. No time we sober. This party all over. Feeling high. Put your bottles in the sky and just look up and make up look empty. Somebody pour a shot in the glass. Hey. Whole night we drinking. Whole day we drinking. They say I
Here we
drinking
go,
too much
hip
and too
circles to
fast.
the right.
Hey. every weekend. Don't tell me about it.
Speed it up,
I will call this vector and another vector for your body. Vector and another vector for your body. Vector and another vector for your body. Vector and another
Here we go,
vector for your
left
body. Vector and another vector for your body. Vector and another vector for your body. Vector and another vector for your body.
Here we go, wind it up, stir it up.
Season, you're right, and it's showing off in your costume. First fight, doing all kind of crazy tricks, girl. With your waist,
need some modified marching
you
place.
can make wine in a cry.
Here we go, wind
I'm
it
gonna
up.
bubble to the bass and let it go. Drop that bomb on the floor. Provoking my friends to see.
7, 8, get
Yeah,
up.
you do that thing just like a bro. No holding back, just let it go. Take me straight to ecstasy.
Wind it up to the right.
Go-go dancer. Go-go dancer. Spin the roll and drop that bumper.
7 and 8, jump in place.
Jam into the beat and soca.
7 and 8.
Fifty she wine. Go down, go down. Bubble at the pole, girl. Go down, go down. Put your heart and soul, girl. Go down, go down. Go down, go down. Yeah.
Jump in place.
Go down, go down. Bubble at the pole, girl. Go down, go down. Put your heart and soul, girl. Go down, go down. Yeah.
Here we go, wind it up. Jump in place.
Masqueraders coming on, ready to wine and tumble down. Come out to party and misbehave.
Here we go, to the left.
Desperados in the tongue, beating the liquor like a drum. In the middle of the parade,
Jump in
no
place.
color can zero, and that is the motto. Every petal ever laid, pelted waist like javelin. I'm
Wind it
ready
up.
to let go. I wind it down real low. It's my true identity, showing off in the party, pumping like a hero, hero, hero. Behavior on zero, zero, zero. I'm
Circle
pumping like
to
a
our left.
hero, hero, hero. Behavior on zero. Whoa.
Here we go, jump in place.
Inspire me right away to get fiery, fiery. I'm full of adrenaline, so it's heavy reveling.
Here we go, and wrap.
Memory, memory, make it no friend remember me.
Wrap the waist. Hands behind the back.
Pumping like a hero, hero, hero. My behavior on zero, zero, zero. I'm pumping like a hero, hero, hero. My behavior on zero, behavior on zero, behavior on behavior on behavior on behavior on behavior on.
Roll it.
Everybody, ready, ready, lose your mind and show me, show me. Everybody, ready, ready, lose your mind and show me.
To the right, and
Everybody, ready, ready, lose your mind and show me, show me.
roll it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To the right, and 1, 2, 3, clap.
This girl, bitch, I move it.
Here we go, sir.
Trouble when she turn it. Need your service. Waistline hot like a furnace. Girl, what you doing to me?
To the right, and
Girl, what you doing to me? Doing to me? I want to feel the heat on
here
your
we go,
skin.
roll it. To the right.
Every time we whining, you have me losing in mind. It's like you're whining to win. And all the rum I don't drink, it's really making me think. I put pull on your waist and start a race. I'm ready for that place. Girl, give me that wine,
Here we go.
so shy. Boy, you feel me, pressure me, apply.
Clap and center.
Girl, you know I'll never tell no lie. If you are too rough, I still go try. Ready for everyone, what's going on? You better wine to this mercy.
Together, two more slow.
Pressure when we reach in the place. Every girl I run up the way. Pressure we go give them this year.
We gonna speed it up. And
Trouble when we reach in the place. Every girl better move up the waist and them nice, so nice, so nice.
here we go. Wave it up.
Life is great.
Take your feet up. 1, 2, 3, kick.
Life is great. I am blessed.
Here we go. Turn to the right.
Start the thing without chaser. Invite the friends and we neighbors. Confidence is the flavor. And we talk about how we wait. Watch how we swag outrageous. And we bring the vibes in the session. Cause my squad locator. Big up my friends and big up my haters. We love to party. We just spend the hardest. Big up all the masses. And that's what the vibe. We love to party. We just spend the hardest. Big up all the masses. And that's what the vibe. Pressure when we reach in the place. Every girl I run up the way. Pressure we go give them this year. And we feel it.
Here we go. Last time.
Trouble when we reach in the place. Every girl better move up the waist and them nice, so nice, so nice.
Turn to the left.
Them restless people, they always talking about me, watching what I'm driving, and watching who moving with me, watching what I'm wearing, like it's them who buy it for me. They can't be my friend or family.
Here we go.
Say what you say, do what you want. I talk in plain, I take in front. They want to fight me and criticize me, cause they don't like me. But please don't stop. I love when you're calling up my name, cause all you're giving me is faith.
6, 7,
You can't drain my energy, you can't wreck my family. So whatever you say about me, I'm telling you, please don't stop. Like the elders used to say, one more killers make you stronger. I happier than the haters. They pushing me to reach further and motivating me harder. I coming out like a soldier with an angel on my shoulder. We going all the way up. And saying anything, tell them we was born to win. Champion vibes with a spring. Hands up, leave me, let me do my thing. Them can't stop me from singing.
to the
Hands
right.
up, tell them we was born to win. Champion vibes with a spring. Hands up, we going all the way
Here we go. To the left.
Y'all, you got me high above the clouds. Y'all, you should be proud. Sexy with that thing, you got to stand out in the
Right knee
crowd.
comes
You
up.
got me high above the clouds. Y'all, you should be proud. Sexy with that thing, you got to stand out in the
Here we go.
crowd.
Fast
Because
feet
your
down.
voice
2, 3.
you are my shop it down.
Turn.
Y'all, your voice baby, why not follow?
Four in place.
Your voice
2,
keep it lively. Baby, your voice
3, 4, and wave.
Only good vibes is the plan.
And
It's
down.
Soca with the man. Turn it
Bring it
up,
up.
raise the heat inside this place. Bring a bottle of rum. I come here to set my mind free, and I'm not leaving till it's done. I might leave here with a smallie. If it's your fight, another
Here we go,
one.
circle
It's
up.
a million gal, and they want to jam. And I with the team, with we drinks in hand.
Hey,
Cause
step
we
it up.
going up, and
And
that
back.
girl can't stop grab me.
And
But
back.
it's just one gal, have me mad. If you see waist on that girl when she drop, stick, 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 stick and start to push back. If you see waist on that girl when she drop, stick, 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 stick and start to push back.
Here we
If you
go.
see waist on that girl when she drop, stick, 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 stick and start to push back.
Circle up.
A murder was the case. This girl have a weapon. She know exactly how to control the waist. She send me to heaven.
Here we
I
go.
come here to set my mind free, and I'm not leaving till it's done. I might leave here with a smallie, cause tonight I come to have fun. It's a million girl, and they want to jam. It's a million girl, and they want to jam. It's a million girl, and they want to jam. It's a million girl, and they want to jam. It's a million girl, and they want to jam.
When the girls look good, yeah, the boys they come
Knees up,
around,
knees up.
come around, yeah, they come around. When the
Knees up.
girls look good, yeah, the boys they come around, yeah, they come around.
Turn to the right.
Carnival is woman,
Twist. Turn to the
carnival
back.
is girls, girls, girls. Carnival is woman,
Left.
carnival is girls, girls, girls.
Here we go. To the left.
Take a trip, take a trip, take a trip, take a trip now. Hey.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, wow. We are the sound of 100,000 coming on the road.
Face the
We
front.
are the vibration that you feel when the music low.
Here we go.
We are the mud and the oil and we come the nutty of the cruise. I made the girl them wine and strike the electric pose.
Hey,
Take a trip, take a trip, take a trip, take a trip now. Hey, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it now. Hey,
other
take a
side.
sip, take a sip, take a sip, take a sip now. Pango dip, pango dip, pango dip, pango dip now. Hey,
Circle up.
so we are the sound them select to play every day, making you sway.
Here we go.
And when the girl them telele and shadow dingole, I hear the soul God say, hey, we are the sound of soca.
Side.
Big bad soca. Big bad soca. Big bad soca.
We got circle up.
We have the champion sound. Everybody whine to the champion sound. We have the champion sound. Wine and go down to the champion
Other hand,
sound.
circle one. 2, 3. Other side. 2, 3, 4. And pick it up. Knees up.
Like a new machine, like morning dew, fresh on the
Here we
sea.
go. Cross.
On the party,
Back.
to the
Side. Jump together
I
and
like
cross.
it so. With your side, oh Lord, this
Cross and
city.
back.
Good
Side. Jump
for
together.
we jump it still, we jump it still.
Face the right.
The building, good for no.
Face the front.
We jump it still, we jump
Here we
it.
go. Speed it up.
Just hold them and walk them. 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 Just hold them and walk them.
Keep going to
Hold
the
them and
right.
walk them. Hold them and walk them. Hold them and walk them. On the road, push them thing there. On the road,
Here we go.
on the
We're gonna step to the
road,
left.
on the road, push
March
them
in
thing
place.
there. On the road, push them thing there. On the
How we
road,
doing?
push them thing there. On the road, push
Take
them
breaks
thing
if
there.
you
On
need
the
them.
road, push them thing there.
Here we
On
go,
the road, drop the thing and bounce it. Drop the thing and bounce it right there. Drop the thing and bounce it. Drop the thing and bounce it right there. Drop the thing and bounce it. Drop the thing and bounce it right there. Drop the thing and bounce it. Drop the thing and
Keep
bounce
going
it.
to the left.
Drop the wine, everything get tempt. Duty free, everything exempt. Kind of wine every mankind dream that make them walk off all the bills and rent. You're thinking about engagement to keep you captive like it's enslavement. When the wine there's no replacement, you make you stand up looking in
Speed it up
amazement.
and 1,
Off the wine, mash up the
3,
pavement.
turn 2.
Plain your waist and make a statement. When it comes to whining in party, anything just must make arrangement.
Again.
Funeral home, make your payment. Party while like 20 cavemen. You're braver than 20 brave men. Try a waistline, the place you place. Put your hands in the air, waving like carnival. 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 Rags 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 in the air, waving like carnival. Everyone, let me see your hands up, straight up into the sky. Put your hands up. Everybody move, don't stand up, straight up into the sky. Put your hands up. We've got the vibes up, way up. Turn up the volume, way up. Everyone's crunk up, way up. Hey,
Here we go.
everybody, hands go up.
3, 4. Circle down. Reach.
Everybody,
Again.
hands go
And
up.
1, 2, 3, 4. Circle. Touch.
Everybody, hands go up.
Circle. Wave. That's it. Down and around.
Life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. I'm happy.
Hands behind the back.
Life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. I good, I good, I good. Yeah. I want to
Reach it up.
remember the life is a party. Every day, every day, every day.
Hands behind the back.
Celebrate like a
2, 3,
birthday.
4,
This
5,
life
6,
means so
7,
much
8,
to
8.
me. I want to treat. I have my friends here with me.
Again,
All of us just
down.
be well happy, so we don't worry. Cause when we
forward.
trusting in one thing, we making a
Turn to the
statement,
right.
which is we need to be free. Cause when we trusting in one thing, we making a statement, which is we need to be free. Yeah, we live with life, live with life. We don't take the prize to do what we feel like. Live with life, live with life. We don't pay the price. So I'm coming out on the road.
Here we go. Jump.
All of you,
up there with all of you. Setting up there with all of you. Happy, happy, happy. Trying to jump it up with all of you. Setting up there with all of you. Having that time with all of you. Oh, and I will never let you down. So, life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. A happy, a happy. Life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. I good, I good, I good. Yeah. I want to remember. Life good, life good. Life good, life good, life good. I good, I good, I good. Somebody tell me, oh, how many need have an answer? I can't take the pressure.
Here we go.
Somebody save me. Whoa, save me for myself now. Cause once it have pet and liquor,
Wave it
I
up.
just feel I could do what I want, where I want, and just how I want it. All on top the speaker talking. I see by this thing when I'm pumping. Yeah.
Wave it up.
But man say I ain't working. Wife he tell me I'm hard.
Step back.
I say any problems you want, check me in the morning.
Here we
Right
go,
now
to the
I
right.
enjoy my life, yeah. Don't come here to destroy my vibe, no. Right now I enjoy my life, yeah. Don't come here to destroy my vibe, no. Oh no, I got it. Every girl when I go down
That's
there,
it.
all woman when I reach out there. Next year not promise to it, so I jam in bumpers for jamming. Every girl when I go down there, all woman when I reach out there. Jamming bumpers for jamming, for jamming, for jamming. Somebody help me, somebody help me, somebody help me, somebody help me, somebody help me.
Face the front. Last time. Here we go, Chuck. Push it back. Circle. Stir it up. Chug it forward. Chug it back. Circle. Chug. Take it back. 2, 3. Circle. Good. Kick it forward.
Excuse me, Mr. Holder, I'll come to tell. There's something about your daughter, like she not well. I thought was an angel that I was marrying. I now see the Lucy that she was hiding.
Here we go, circle
Just
back.
like I love rum, this girl love it too. She said she have no owner, worse yet no curfew. As she done one vet, she walk go to more. Every time I turn my back, she spread out all on
Hey,
the floor.
here we
She
go.
have a bacchanal. She in every bacchanal. And
In
the thing
place,
that I
left
cannot
leg
take,
back.
people calling
Right
me
leg.
just bacchanal all over the place for the carnival.
Here we go. Walk it out.
Give you the workout, girl. Give you the workout, girl. Yeah, yeah.
Around.
Give you the workout, girl. Give you the workout, girl.
Knees up.
Give me the workout, baby. Show them that you're not lazy. Oh, lately, that body driving me crazy. Gym body, gym body. Now give it to nobody, oh, gym body, gym body. Original, them can photocopy, oh.
Knees up.
And you know we end up
we go.
going low,
Back.
low, low,
Back.
low, 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 until we end
Pick
up
it up.
going low, low,
Left side.
low,
2.
until we end up on the ground.
3.
Give it to me now, work out. Give it to me
Knees
now,
up.
yeah. Give it to me now, work out. Give it to me now,
Forward. Heel.
give it to me now, work out. Give it to me now,
Heel to the right.
to me now, work out. Give it to me now.
For the girls to this wine and go down, the one to this wine to the ground, and those to be standing around, the girls to come out to perform. One to know about some motion, hard work time for emotion. Move your body with devotion, you're pulling me in like the ocean. Come my way now, I'm over here. Let's party now. Won't you come over here? Make them go na 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 na. Watch me go na 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 na.
Wave it up.
Make me say na 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 na. Give me some of that na na na.
Take it down.
You make me stamina, but all of that stamina.
Take it up.
Sweat like a banana. Girl, you better make me
Roll it. Roll it.
call me oh la 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 today. Girl them love me like good on a Sunday. Love me girl, love me style, love me bend it. And without them in my life will be
Here we go.
Girl to man is trendy. Couple
Bring
woman
it
that
back.
is healthy. I met so much woman in my life, but this girl you're excellent. Baby, treat me like I'm your lover. Hold me a little closer. Your beauty is so divine. Skin color vanilla.
Wave it up.
For summer for soca. Then she put she head on my shoulder. I put no reason so I have to jack it up and then I do that on you. Turn round for me, baby. Turn for me. Turn round for me, baby. You too good. Turn for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn round for me. Ay, 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 ay. Turn for me. Turn round for me. My girl, back it up, back it up, back it up, lift it up, back it up, jack it up, jack it for me. Back it up, back it up, back it up, lift it up, jack it up for me. Back it up, back it up, back it up, lift it up, back it up, jack it up, jack it for me. Back it up, back it up, back it up, lift it up, jack it up for me. Hola,
Other side.
Girl, your body is set. I say wine and check. So baby, wine and come in, come in. I let up a lucky from Africa. Yeah. She tell me she love Trinidad soca. Oh,
Twist it out.
baby girl, tell me what is your name? Yeah. She said my waistline is going to explain. Oh,
Take it
the first time I
forward.
meet up with this Hannah,
Take it
she
back.
was standing in front of me, and her favorite song come on the speaker, and then she started to break away.
Alright.
She biting her lips like a piranha,
Take it back.
dipping and walking up to me, and rolling her hips in the corner. That's how this girl back it on me. So I
Wave
feel
it
on her, touch on her, hold on her, want on her, kiss on her, bend on her. So I feel on her, want on her, touch on her, turn on her, kiss on her, love on her.
Here we go. Knees up.
I need her. Oh Lord, I can't leave this girl alone. I need her. I will give her all of my money.
Knees up.
Oh, I need her. You're shining on the candle table. Oh, I need her.
Here we go.
Girl, it's a pleasure to meet ya. I'm thinking of ways to keep ya.
Twist.
Cause I don't want but I need her. The girl sneak up on me like a creeper. I don't want them to swap with a cheater. So I stick up underneath her. If another girl come and go greet her, then run away fast like a
Here we go.
cheetah. So I
Knees
feel
up.
on her, touch on her, hold on her, want on her, kiss on her, bend on her.
6, 7, and 8. Other side. Low kick.
Want on her, touch on her,
Twist.
turn on her,
Twist.
twist on
Low
her,
kick.
love on her.
Twist. Twist. Low kick.
I need her.
Last one.
Oh Lord, I can't leave this girl alone. I need her.
Circle that leg. Here we go. Knees up.
Bend down, my girl, bend down. Bend down, my girl, bend down. Bend down, my girl, bend down. Go down, go down, go down, go down, my girl. Bend down, my girl, bend down. Bend down, my girl, bend down. Bend down, my girl, bend down now.
Here we go. Knees up.
Just run over me, don't run, my girl, don't run. When we set, bend down, girl, go down there. Oh, I love how you waist so long, girl. I've been looking for this so long, girl. When we set, bend down, girl, go down there.
Down.
We come to force girl. Force it in the nanny, hey. In the panty, just force it in the nanny, hey. Hold on, oh my God, play this soca, make the girl them wind their bumper, make them bend down. When she bend down, I go force it, when she bend down, girl, I go force it, force it, yeah, force it in the nanny, hey. In the panty, just force it in the nanny, hey.
Girl, we must be like now. Talk, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, 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 girl, stick, tick, 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 girl, stick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, 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 girl, stick, tick, 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 girl, stick. Girl, bend over, girl, bend over, girl, bend over, girl, bend over. I take a tick, 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 girl, stick, tick, 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 girl, stick. Girl, bend over, girl, bend over, girl, bend over, girl, bend over. I take a tick, 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 girl, stick. Every time that bend, bend over, you know borrow, you know lend. Bend over, you're better than the whole of them. Bend over, girl, you really not pretend. Bend over,
Chug it back.
bend and push it back, push it back. Then let me deal with that, let me deal with that. I just stick down there, I just stick down there, I just stick down there.
Face the back.
a wine on the spot. Do the take a wine on the spot. Take a wine on the spot. Take a wine on the spot. Do the
Job rolling with a big stick in a crocus ball. Job you love too much, girl, I said not at all. Bend them over like dog and hook them hard. When we drink it strong, rum, well, here we ball. Joe Cook, Job a black mamba like Kobe Ram. Go turn on top of my posy. Girl, you pop and back and show me. Poke fat and it rosy. Snake want to get cozy. Bathing all and put on a jersey. Reaching rum and bob on the early. Pick a Lord, 365 and a quarter. I hope your mother don't pay your data. 365 and a quarter. I walk him more than don't pay your data. So don't disrespect the job. Don't disrespect the job. Don't disrespect the job. Never disrespect the job. Don't disrespect the job. Don't disrespect the job. Don't disrespect the job. Never disrespect the job.
This is my from Rockaville. Picking up on Rimoya Coons and Paul's Coons. Pick up our Coco Coons and Paradise Coons. This is a new tune. Why you say?
Girl, if you lose your mind, until you make a trail. Head or tail, I say head or tail. Man, if you lose your drink in the rum, come dip it clear. Head or tail, I say head or tail. Girl, if you lose your mind, until you make a trail. Head or tail, I say head or tail. Man, if you lose your mind, in the rum, come jump in the water. Jump in the water. Jump in the water. Jump in the water.
Bring it down to the floor.
Make the girl them broke out. We make the girl them broke out. Skin up the face and broke out. Trick up the waist and broke out. We make the girl them broke out. Put them to work and duck out. Pick up the card and clock out. Hey, yeah, we have the place and we love the place and we have the space and time. When we block the bass and knock out the face and we call the girl them wine. Yeah, we love the block with the big bad truck and the girl them follow behind. Bounce like gelato DJ with some rat of yeah, them gonna lose them mind. We make the girl them broke out. We make the girl them broke out. Skin up the face and broke out. Trick up the waist and broke out. We make the girl them broke out. Put them to work and duck out. Pick up the cars and clock out. I love to drink until I call on myself. Yeah, I drink in the rum until I call on myself. Yeah, I coffee and hard until I call on myself. I get in on hard until I call on myself. But one thing I know, I don't get on. I don't get on. I don't get on. One thing I know, I don't get on. I don't get on. I don't get on. Mama, tell me.
That's it.
Where you get your name from? 'Cause you may sound so African. Some say you is Nigerian, some say Trinidadian. And that's when I answer the question. Everybody, all of you from Africa, all of you from Africa, all of you from Africa. The mama tell me, jump Trinidad, jump like an African. Wave to me, go wave like Africa. Zimbabwe, hit the jump everybody. Zimbabwe.
Other side. All right.
Join our tribe of love on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Afro Soca Love.
Get up, my sister.
Versatility and access. Listen to the difference with DJ Marga.
Take it forward and back.
It is one nation.
Take it back.
DJ and music group.
Take it back.
See every time I when I roll out, I tell you back girl, she come on and round. And every time I bring the dough out, shake your booty, girl, shake your booty, wine palm, my shabba dance can make them wanna hit, make you fall in love and make you appreciate when you do like say.
the chill, me say show them use a thriller. Then again, them got to leave you alone. Them can't whine in your zone. They just not ready. They just not ready.
When the music bustin' at the gal them head up, dance floor hot like hell but ever. 6 and 7, gal a group up, good gal, bad gal, all pretty devil. That's the type of gal when I walk, gal when my next rated and raw. Me love when the gal them bend it over and tell me to stop up the over the top. Sit up on the thing and make she talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Wine when the thing and make she talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Yeah, put your hands on me head, grip me tight, make me ball, make me beg. Up some more on your body in the dead, show me the power to get in the side.
When your waistline bump up over, you know, cause you look so good. You dance turn over, you know. I don't mind you whining for yourself. Do it over, you know, cause you whine so good. I say no long talking. When we whine, when we whine, when we whine. Only slow dancing. Bring it back one time. Baby say no long talking. When we whine, when we whine, when we whine. So stop telling just right time. Like how you roll double time. You got the wine, don't waste the time. Hey girl, I'm tired of the lip service. You got the wine, don't waste the time. Hey girl, I'm tired of the lip service. You got the wine, don't waste the time. I'm tired of the lip service. Why everybody gotta move those lips? When you wine, so sing come closer to me, closer to me. Skin raised when I touch your body, come closer to me, closer to me. DJ play girl, wine your body, come closer to me, closer to me. Skin raised when I touch your body, come closer to me, closer to me.
Good. Roll down all the way. Touch the floor.
You say you gotta leave, but you're coming back. You need me to trust when you tell me that.
Stretch.
And I'm the kind of girl to respect you. Not even gonna give you a lecture, no.
Turn the knees out this time. Turn the toes out and stretch.
Need some space and I hear you. As long as I will not have to compete or to share you now. Nothing can compare to my love. I know my love must be blind. Hope you'll change your mind for me. Don't you know the love I got is real? If you need to prove it, we can make a deal. But if you turn this up right, I will be here, boy. I'll be here, boy. I will be here, boy. I'll be here, boy. I will be here, boy. Waiting for you. Don't you know the love I got is real? And if you need me to prove it, we can make a deal.
Walk your toes together. Shake it out. Bring your arms up. March it out.
Bring on Miss Ellie, bring on Miss Ellie to go. Can't believe turn up already, but nobody ready to go. We going
Down one more time.
all night long.
got to know.
Feet together, right leg back.
Girl, when you see a whole lot of rest, I don't know already you might want
Step
undress.
back.
By the time that we leave in the fed, I'll be your king, you'll be my
Shake it
empress.
out.
Yes. But even if we stay right here,
guys
I'll
had a
rock
good
you till the
time.
morning come. I really wanna rock you to every song. I want to rock you all night. Your body's like a magnet pulling
All right.
tight. And every time
So we've come to the end of Soca Fitness. Again, my name is Carmen Carriker. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have questions or you'd like to know more about my classes, feel free to email me at crownsoulyoga@gmail.com and feel free to visit my website at crownsoulyoga.com. Until next time, stay healthy, stay well, and keep dancing.